So I still have not found my stand. I cannot figure out where it went, but that's why this this video is going to end up coming off a little wonky. You can see my browning bananas. One of the problems with ADHD. Don't always use what you plan. So today we are going to go through and we are going to make my soup. This is, some people might find it a little boring, but I love this soup. It's so easy, so simple, so cheap. 1 cup servings for lunch, and I can take it to work. I freeze it in 1 cup servings. Helps save me money, and it's extremely healthy soup. The recipe's flexible, so you can do what you need to do. If something is a little more expensive that week, or you don't like a specific ingredient, you go ahead and change it however you want to. Okay, so this is an 8-quart soup pan. So that's around 32 cups. And I've always told people I end up getting about 30 servings. So yeah, that math checks out. I fill it pretty full, so I get pretty much almost every last drop. So yeah, about 30 servings sounds right. Normally I would use pretty much all dry beans. However, apparently I forgot to buy more last time I was out. So in addition to the dry beans, which will set to soak here for probably not too long, just like an hour or two, just let them start the soak. I'll also be using some canned beans. This is just what I have. You can use literally whatever beans you like. Celery, and then we're also going to get a little bit of zucchini. Normally I would get broccoli, but I have some frozen stir-fry veggies in the freezer, and I'm going to use up some of those. I prefer red onions. I'll use 2 of those. You can use yellow if you prefer, or white, whatever your taste preference is. Green onion. No organic potatoes today, which is really weird, but okay. So I'll get these, which are on sale for $3.50 anyway. I like mini reds. They make for pretty good soup potatoes. Usually I can find a thing of mushrooms on sale, but not this week, so okay. You don't actually want a lot of carrots because they'll sweeten everything up, which is why if you can buy carrots, like just 1 carrot, maybe 2, you're probably good. Unfortunately, I don't see any like that at the moment for this store, so I guess I'm gonna get, I usually use carrot chips. Let's try it with carrot chips. Some vegetable broth. Okay, that is gonna be a extra thing. I don't usually throw fire roasted tomatoes in there, but that sounds good. We'll give it a shot. So the easiest way to do this is to get one of these bags of like the bean mix soup. You'll see like 15 bean, whatever. So that's a great way to start doing this. And you just throw in whatever vegetables you want. So I need some barley. We're not, well, I might use it on this one. I like to keep black beans on hand. Like I said, I usually will use dry beans, but I didn't have any when I started soaking my beans, so we'll use that next time. They do actually have, we'll do the next round with just, yeah, if you didn't know, 9.4 cents per ounce, 12.5 cents per ounce. Get the bigger bag. Well, most of the things I buy are organic. Sometimes with the beans, I won't do that. And then, yeah, here's the other one, the 15 bean soup. Yeah. And another one that's not going in the soup this time because the beans are already soaking, but I haven't bought pinto in a little while, so we'll get some pinto too. Wild blend rice. The lentils were soaking for a little while. They've been rinsed a couple of times. I have no idea how much lentils I put in there. I always just eyeball the number of beans, whatever. Yeah, so they were soaking for a little bit. Next up, I'm gonna add just some regular old filtered water. Still have some purple pearl barley, so put that in there. A little less than half of the wild rice that I bought. Yes, we rinsed it. A little less than half the wild rice I bought, rinsed. Something's going on with my phone. It keeps cutting out when I'm recording, so hopefully we can do this. I have an older vegetable broth that I bought when it was on clearance. So we'll just go ahead and pour that in there. Now, most vegetable broth is or even like chicken broth, beef broth, whatever. It's extremely high in sodium, which is why I only use one of these and go mostly with water. Okay, we're gonna caramelize some onions. This step is entirely unnecessary. I just happen to like the onions caramelized. But like I said, entirely unnecessary step. You can just throw them right in if you do not feel like spending the time to do this. But since we gotta wait for beans and grains to plump up anyway, why not? So mushrooms, onions, and potatoes can all go in pretty much as early as you want. Oh, as well as the celery. It's pretty hard to overcook those things, so there's no real schedule for those, just early so they have time to thoroughly cook and diffuse. Time for spices. So we are going to use quite a bit of minced garlic because I really like garlic. So at this point in time, I've also already put in the vegetables that can cook for a long time. So I put in all of the mushrooms, all of the green peppers, all of the green onions. I've put in half of the celery, and I put in somewhere between like 1/4 and 1/3 of the carrots, and I put in about half of the bag of potatoes. The onions are still going. Okay, next up, oregano. There's really not like too much spices you can add unless it's like gritty. And then some basil. You will notice this is not the same basil canister because apparently I just paid an ADHD tax. I apparently did buy basil and didn't check it off of my shopping list. This is black pepper. I actually really dislike spicy food, and pepper for some reason makes me sneeze really badly. So we're actually only going to put a little bit in. Now for those of you who like that spicy food, you go right ahead. And then we're also going to put in some thyme. We're already putting in some thyme. Takes a couple hours. And then I use 2 bay leaves because more than that can, for some reason, make your, oh, that's a busted one, but can actually make your soup taste really sweet. So I stick to 2. Okay, and finally, because I had set it aside because I didn't want to mix it up, just a tiny bit of red pepper. Like I said, I don't actually like spicy food, so I put in just a little bit because the nutrients in spicy foods are actually really good for you, but I can't stand tasting them because it will drive me bonkers. And then finally, as if there wasn't enough garlic, we're going to throw in some garlic salt. Not too much because the broth and the liquid that the canned beans are in will contain salt as well, and I don't want this to be too salty. And I also put in a can of organic tomato paste. Now note, this is tiny. This is 6 ounces. I'm gonna put it in that 8-quart pan because I actually don't like minestrone soups, tomato-based soups, but this gets me some extra lycopene and all the other good vitamins that are there in tomatoes. And like I said, this is not something I've usually put in. Actually, this is something I've never put in there. I used to get another type of tomato that did work pretty well, but they stopped carrying it. So we're just gonna get this. This is more like a treat. This is absolutely not required. Okay, the onions are starting to caramelize, but it's still going to be a little bit here. Threw the tomato stuff in there, so that's starting to get in with the flavor. It does smell like it's already probably a little too sweet, so I may have to add some vinegar later. We'll see. But this needs to go for a little while without me doing too much. Probably need to stir that in about 5 minutes. This is one of the most important things with ADHD. If you are leaving the kitchen, timer. I need to stir those in about 5 minutes. Timer. Never leave your kitchen while something is cooking without setting the timer that will force you back in here. Not the timer on your phone, because the timer on your phone you can just snooze. This timer you have to get up, get into the kitchen, and turn off. Okay, soup is starting to get soupy. The beans and the grains are not yet cooked all the way, but they're getting pretty far along. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the zucchini. And while I'm doing that, this is why I don't normally caramelize onions, because it takes freaking forever. Side note, just so those of you that are really wanting the optimal health diet ever, by caramelizing the onion, it actually does make them less healthy. It increases something known as aegis, which is actually a carcinogen. So if you want to be absolutely on it, don't caramelize the onions. But I figure the rest of the soup is healthy enough. I can have some caramelized onions if I want. And we're going to go ahead and throw these canned beans in. And again, like, this soup would be so much cheaper with just dry beans, but I didn't have them on hand when I started cooking, and I didn't want to have to wait even longer to start cooking, so I'm just using the canned beans. Oh, we're going to pause that. These are stuck. Third can of beans. Okay, so all the beans. And yeah, all those definitely had a lot more salt, which is why I didn't want to do too much until these had been added to do more to the flavor, because this is definitely going to change the flavor. Okay, the ADHD said we were not waiting for the caramelized onions anymore, so they went in, and some of them are caramelized, some of them are not, and yeah, it is what it is. So now we're going to go ahead and reset this timer for probably about 10-15 minutes, and then I'll come back and stir this, because now it's mostly a waiting game until I can add the short time cooking vegetables. The poor squish. The poor squish. Been running around basically staring at me every time I got up, because I just realized it's his dinner time and he wants to be fed. Okay, soup has been cooking for a couple of hours-ish. Well, maybe not that long. Starting to get close. The zucchini are starting to get cooked. They're not quite where they'll be by the time the soup is done, but it's getting close. The beans and grains are starting to finish up here. So we're gonna go ahead and throw in two things. One is the frozen vegetables that I have from, again, Costco. Y'all, Costco is nice and cheap, and it is fabulous. Well, not the cheapest, but it's extremely reasonable. I can buy in large quantities that are frozen and just leave it in my freezer. I don't have to worry about it going bad. Okay, how much room do we have in the pot? Yeah, we're gonna be able to do more than that. Okay. You could just use any old frozen vegetables. This is a stir fry mix, and second ADHD tax I paid. Look at those carrots. I really did not need to buy this carrots. It's already in the frozen vegetables, but that is what it is. When making this soup, another very important thing is check your fridge for unused vegetables that are on the verge of going bad. So I've rinsed this spinach because it is a little on the ripe side here, and this will melt down to nothing. So just getting rid of some leftover spinach. And now that all the vegetables are in, I have an idea of my volume. Add a little more water, let it cook down. We'll see where we end up. Okay, I've added more seasoning. It's basically seasoned to taste. It's more or less done. Everything is technically cooked. I am gonna let it cook a little longer though, because I like the rice and the lentils to be softer. So I'm gonna let it keep going for a little while. Once it's all done, I'll start scooping it into these. So this is, let's see, 8 ounces. I can just do 8 ounces, 1 cup of the soup in 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 3 of these trays, so 3 of them will go in the freezer tonight, so that tomorrow they'll be frozen solid, and I can go ahead and take those out, pop them into bags, and reuse them and do another 12, so I'll have 24 frozen, and I'll eat, you know, like a week of what's left in the pot. So that's it. Simple, cheap, extremely nutritious. Great way to save money and be healthy. So let's take a look at what the soup ultimately cost. We'll see if I can get the spreadsheet here or over the whole screen. I don't know, I haven't really done that before. So we'll see what this looks like. But basically the soup cost, when we go through the individual items, you'll see that for the items I purchased today, if it was the whole item, I put the whole cost. If it was like half or a quarter, I kind of estimated it out. For items that I had to pull from my own pantry, I kind of estimated what the value on those were. Usually I buy things when they're on sale and stockpile them then. So the cans of soup were probably all purchased. Oh, there's the timer again. The cans of soup were probably all purchased on sale, because I don't usually buy canned beans. So those were probably all on sale when I purchased them. And down at the bottom here, you can see that, you know, had I purchased, or had I chose to make it with red wine, which I usually do, would have raised the cost a little bit. Don't have any red wine today though. And had I chosen to go solely dry beans, and had I chosen to go non-organic, I probably would have saved about close to $9, around $9, $10, somewhere in there, meaning that the cost of my soup ended up being about $1.30 per serving as is, with most of it being organic and even being canned as opposed to dried beans, which are much cheaper. And had I gone non-organic and dried beans, it would have been somewhere right around a dollar per serving. Super healthy. It's a great meal that you can prepare for, like if you got teenagers or somebody in your house who's a bottomless pit, you make this and you're like, you can have as much of this as you want. Nope, not the candy, not the junk food, not the popcorn. You have as much of this as you want. Super healthy. Okay, so there you go.